with Intention podcast where we bring you stories from around the globe. Hello and welcome back to another episode on Rise and Thrive Mornings with Intention. And today I have a beautiful guest coming back again to us, Dr. Rani Thanacoody. Welcome. It's so nice to have you back.
Hi, Eva. Thank you so much for the invitation. I am really excited to be today with the Rise and Thrive again and with you and your audience. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. It's so nice to see you again. And it's been a while, but here we are again. And today we're going to focus more on the amazing collaboration books you have been in. So if you missed our other episode, I strongly recommend go back and listen because we were talking about other amazing things. I'm not going to tell you, you have to go check it out. So today we're going to jump into an incredible journey with publishing, becoming an author, international best-selling author. So you were with Dr. John Gray in the Amazon number best-selling book called Love and Coaching. And your chapter is named, what is the name again?
The best investment you will ever make.
That's right. So tell us,
Yes.
how did you get into this book? What inspired you to take this book under your belt?
Thank you so much for this question. Let me introduce myself to the audience so that they know who I am. And my name is Rani, and I hold a PhD in management. I have been in teaching at university level in human resource management for the past 20 years, and I am based in the UK. And after my working hours, after work, I am a clinical hypnotherapist. I am the founder of AmazingYou therapy, where I offer different kind of therapies using different modalities. So I do I am a clinical hypnotherapist using rapid transformational therapy. I am a Mars Venus life and relationship coach. I do astrology reading, tarot reading, compassion session, and I also do energy healing using star magic techniques. And I have a podcast like Eva too, which is called Amazing You, and a YouTube channel that have been aired for the past 3 years now. So this is a bit about me and what inspired me to be part of that book. I had a coach at that time with Mars Venus and with Dr. John Gray. I am part of that academy, of that network. And I was talking to my coach. I said, I would like to write a book. I don't know if it's a children's book, whatever book. And then when he heard me asking, because he's the second director of the company, co-director, so he said, let me see what I can do. So what he did, and the book Love and Coaching was written before with other coaches. So he updated the book and added some more coaches so I could come and write my chapter, and we updated the book completely again, which is much better. We are now 30 coaches on this with Dr. John Gray, who wrote a chapter, with my coach, Richard Bernstein. And that's how I got this opportunity. It just came like that. And I never, it was in my mind to write, but it came so fast. When your student is ready, the teacher appears. When you are seeking, you find what you are seeking. And that's how the book came. That was one book that I wrote. And so that's the story of it, how it started.
Amazing. Yeah, and that's absolutely true. I love that part when the student's ready, the teacher shows up, and it's happened to me many times throughout my life, just like you. And yeah, opportunities do show up, especially when we align with our true desires. So, so love and coaching. Very interesting name. But in this book, you talk about dynamics between men and women, love and business. So, um, tell us, what do you see as the biggest challenges couples face when blending their personal lives with professional ambitions?
The greatest challenge that couple face, I would say, is stress. And when we are under stress, we don't understand how to relate to each other, because because then we don't seem to get along anymore when we are under stress. That's when we collide. And there is that book by Dr. John Gray, When Mars and Venus Collide. And what it talks about, it's about how men and women cope with stress differently. That's the biggest challenge that every couple I see, because the man doesn't understand how his wife cope with stress, and the wife doesn't understand how her husband or partner cope with stress. And when we don't understand that, it creates more stress in the couple. And that's when you see so many couples split. If they understand how they both think, how their brain is different inside, because for the women, the two sides of the brains are connected. There are more connective tissues. But for the men, the brain, there are tissues, but they are not as connected. They don't connect with each other, the left and the right side. That's why the men, when they are in their right side of the brain, the other side shut down, because they have to focus to do one thing at a time. But for women, it's different. Women can do 20 things at a time, because they have these connective tissues, they see the big picture. So that's what men don't understand about women. And women don't understand that when men are, let's say, working in the office, and when you disturb them, they get upset because they can't think of 20 things. They are not like women. And women will not understand that. They think that men are like them. So these are big, big challenges in couples, to understand how both operate. And if they understand that, that would create much less stress in their relationship. But stress as well is a big factor that impacts every relationship nowadays.
Mm. Wow, and I know a lot more people in business nowadays, because before, I wasn't around all this, and I do see it. I definitely do see it more, and it's a great topic to get into. So with that said, is there any strategy or any tip you could give if somebody's listening to that who is going through that? Is there something you can give us already? Some tips?
Oh, yes, there are so many tips, to relieve stress, what women can do to build their oxytocin, to build their nurturing hormone. And this helps to build the oxytocin 90% faster when they do things for themselves. That is when they do self-care, when they go and meet their friends, when they go out and have a coffee, when they go for a spa, when they go and do their nails, or when they go and plant in the garden, when they go and walk in the forest. So this helps to build their own oxytocin in their body, to nurture themselves, so that when they come back, because when your cup is full, overflows, then you can give. You can't give when your cup is empty. So women need to fill their cup, and they can fill it themselves, and it's much better. It builds their oxytocin 90% faster than when the man does it for them. But the man can do it as well for their wife. When their wife come to work, allow her first thing, because women, when they come to work, they are so stressed out. They had a full day of work, they were in their masculine energy, and when they come home, it's again a second day of work which is starting. But for the men, it's the time for them to relax when they come home. So what the men can do to help their wife or their partner is just what we call the Venus talk. Just listen. The men need to learn how to listen, first of all. Give the woman that space and just listen to her about all her complaints. Don't say anything. She doesn't want anybody to fix it. Just listen to her, for let her complain. And then now she has to tell you everything that is great in her life. It's changing that, because you can't stay in the negative. You have to then look at what is right in your life. What are the good things that happened to you today? And that is the Venus talk. When women have their husband who can listen to them, they feel supported, because what women need, they need to feel that they are not alone, that they are supported. And what the men need, because when the man is listening, he feel needed, he feel important, and that's what men need, to feel appreciated and to feel needed. So this is something simple that every couple can do and put into practice.
Yeah. And even, like at first, if they don't succeed on day 1 or 2, as long as they remember to start doing it more often, it will become a,
Yes,
natural habit, and they're not gonna take it out on each other. They're gonna learn to, strengthen their relationship, and it's gonna become stronger, and everybody will be much more happier in the household.
that is so true. That is so
Yeah.
true. Because a lot of men, they want to fix women. But women, they don't want to be fixed. They just want, when they come from the job, somebody to just listen.
Yeah, they just want to be listened to sometimes. And you know what? I've seen
Yes,
that a few times too. And it's like, you just want that support.
yes,
Even if pretend you're listening and it goes in one ear, out the other, at least it's still
yes.
there. And then
Yeah,
eventually,
yeah.
but that is so true. I love that. And thank you so much for sharing that tip.
You're welcome.
And you also collaborated in another book, and it's called I'm So Glad You Left Me. Stories of courage, self-love, and personal growth. There was a lot of stories, I think about 88 stories in this powerful book. So tell us, what inspired you to join this particular one?
Yes, after writing Love and Coaching, where I shared in Love and Coaching how investing in myself, my self growth, has changed my life, I realized that I need to, I've got another story I can share. How how letting go of all these emotions that I suppressed as a child, how that, when I let go of all this, how my life has changed. But also I share the part of that where, which is very important to me, is my grandmother. She was such an important figure in my life, and when she passed away, it's like I was all by myself. I didn't receive the love, the attention I needed as a little girl of 4 years old. And that has changed my life completely when she passed away. I suppressed my emotions for years and years. And I felt so lonely, so sad, so depressed. I didn't even know what I was having. And the people around me didn't even have time for me. They were just self absorbed, doing their own things, getting food on the table. They did the best they could. At that time, they didn't know how to listen to children, and they had other things to take care of. And I was left by myself. And it's like I felt lost. I felt at times, did I belong to that family? I felt like as if I was adopted, and I never felt as I grew up a sense of safety, a sense of belonging to that family, because I was never heard, and I had to suppress my voice for a very long time. I wasn't allowed to really express myself because I will get reprimanded for that. So these were a lot of emotions that I suppressed. And when I allow those emotions to go after more than 40 years, this has transformed my life. That's why I say I'm so glad you left me. It's letting go of these emotions, letting go of the trauma, a lot of trauma, sexual abuse. That's what I shared in another book, which is called Bare Naked and Beautiful. Really, I went deep into the other book on the abuse, on the physical abuse. But in this one, I shared how I letting go of those emotions, how this has changed my life, transformed my life completely. Like being able to be with you, Eva, is
Mhm.
is a big transformation, because for years I never felt confident. I never felt I could speak my truth. I was told that I shouldn't, whatever I say doesn't make sense. That's what I was told. But now it's like I've got a voice, it's like having healed myself inside, working on these suppressed emotions, taking the time, sitting with myself. It has changed my life completely. And I couldn't do that alone. I would tell the audience it's not always easy, because there are several layers of this trauma. And sometimes we can't do it by ourselves. We can do the easy work by ourselves, the inner work, but we need the help of other therapists. So I had a lot of mindset coach therapists. I still have a therapist that I go to once a month. And because sometimes there are things I can't express to people, but to her, it is a safe space to express. So I think everybody should have a therapist and just have that time where we can really open up and work on whatever is still inside. That has been life-changing for me. Yeah.
Wow. I can relate to quite a bit of what you have mentioned because growing up too, I have suppressed a lot of emotions, been in those spaces where I felt like I couldn't talk. And when we can talk, from my experience, my brain starts doing wonky things. You start thinking things you didn't think you could think, and it just goes in circles sometimes.
Yeah.
And then I dim my own light for a long time,
Mm.
and my voice. And then, when I went into deep dive into personal development, you kind of open that can of worms. Sometimes you don't want to, but you either keep layering it up until you die, or at some point you open up your heart all over again. You go through whatever you need to go through, heal yourself, and then you can hopefully shine brighter than you have ever shined before. And I went through that, similar process, and I'm so glad I did it, even though there were
Mm.
moments that were hard. I cried,
Yeah.
I laughed, and you have to go through that because, on some level, I'm no expert when it comes to traumas and like, huge traumas, but
Mm.
some things are traumatic to some experience, like even the ones I went through, and I got to a point where I couldn't layer another layer on top of layer. I had to finally face them, release them, and it makes you feel so much better at the end. The journey, sometimes it's hard, but sometimes it has to be done. So I can to relate to a lot on what you said. And
Yeah.
life's too short. For me, it's like don't dim your light because there's so
Absolutely.
much, so much to live for, you know. So I love
Yes.
that. What would you say some of the first steps somebody can take when they realize they need to make a life altering change?
I
I
think the
think you kind of
first
mentioned
step,
it, but let's narrow
yes,
it
I think,
down more. Yeah.
yeah, I think, thank you, Eva. I think you and I are very similar. That's why you have your own podcast now, to share your truth, to speak out. Yeah, we have very similar things we went through. And I think the first thing that people need to think of is how willing, how committed are they to do the work, and are they willing to open up in those sessions and let go? Because in those sessions, you and I, we had to really be vulnerable. Be open to what with ourselves first, not only with the therapist, but with ourselves. Face those deep shadows inside of us. Really go deep and open up and feel, let the feeling comes, and not hold on to them. Because I have seen in some sessions, that's why I always do a pre-session meeting with the client to see how committed they are, because this journey, they have to put in effort. As the therapist will do the work, The client work is more important, and their work is to open up, to feel free to talk, and to release and let go of these emotions, because we have got so used to hold them up inside like special treasures, that we can't let people see it. What will people think? But the greatest judge are ourselves. We judge ourselves so much. There's one book written by a very well-known author called Johann Harris, something like that, very well known. And he talked about being the jailer. We are the judge, the jailer. Yes, we
Yeah.
jail ourselves
Yeah.
with our thinking.
Yeah. We sure do
Yes,
sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes more than we
yes.
should.
So it's so true. So I think the person has to be ready to come to those sessions. Be honest with yourself, because if you want to heal, you have to open up and be vulnerable. And every relationship that you are in, you have to be vulnerable. You have to show a side of you, because that's how the person will see who you are. You have to open yourself. You can't be a closed book and be in a relationship and hold your emotions, even in any kind of mostly love relationship. It will not work. It will fail the relationship, because there will be dishonesty, betrayal, all sort of things. Because you have to have your heart open, because loving is, you don't love with a closed heart. You love with an open heart. And that's what healing is about. It's opening your heart, because the heart is the place where we hold so much emotion, the heart and the tummy, all these energy center. But be willing to open, have that heart open, because then you can receive, then you can heal, because everything happens in the heart. The heart is one of the greatest organ that we don't talk enough about.
Mhm.
We talk about the mind, yes, but the heart is where the intuition, that feel things, that will know things before the mind. It sends signals to the mind. So the heart, we have to open our heart, open these energy centers, and then we can feel the transformation. That's where it starts, I would say. Be willing to open up, be willing to be vulnerable, be willing to let go, and be willing to do the work during those sessions.
Exactly. And I even read somewhere, if you heal your heart, you pretty much heal your whole life, because heart is the feeling, that biggest energy, even bigger than your thoughts. So if you heal your heart and it's authentic, it's pure, your life will fall right into place, you know?
Yes, I've got a quote I want to share with you, which is related to the feelings. And this is what Marisa Peer, my teacher, my hypnotherapy mentor, said. She said, the feelings that cannot find its expression in tears may cause the other organs to weep.
Oh, wow.
So, and she saw that in a hospital in the UK. That's what it was written, one of the saying. And that is so true. If we can't let those feelings come out in forms of crying. You and I have cried so much in therapy, in sessions. If you keep them stuck inside, where do they go? They affect your organs. They create throat problem. I had throat problem because I couldn't express myself. I had a lot of throat problem. But as I speak, as I let go, as I express myself, the irritable syndrome went away in my tummy. So it does. It's a lot to do with stuck emotions.
Yeah. And the body tells us, like it sends signals, the things we have
Oh,
to
yes.
work on. It truly does. And I always thought it was bogus and that wasn't true. But when you actually start learning and what life is about life, how it actually all works, it does all make sense, you know. Of course, there's people that are skeptics about
Yes.
certain
Yeah.
things. I mean, we have to question things, of course, but a lot of things do make sense when you actually get deep down into these topics. So I'm so glad you shared this.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I want to share something that the body, we don't realize how powerful our body
Yeah.
is. We were talking before about being supernatural. We are supernatural.
Yeah.
We are multidimensional being, and we don't realize it. How
Yeah.
powerful. We are more powerful than AI. And we can heal ourselves. I have healed so many of my own issues myself on sitting with myself.
Yeah.
So we forget how powerful, and we go outside, look medication, look at this, but
Yeah.
these are just hiding the symptoms. They are just covering the symptom. They are not clearing the root cause. But
Yeah.
we can clear our root cause. We can even go through our past life and
Yeah.
heal those timelines as well. We have so much power. That's
Yeah.
why past life regression we can do timeline healing, so many different kind of modalities, yeah.
Yeah.
And
But you,
everybody should read that book, When the Body Says No, by Dr. Gabor Mate. Read
yeah.
his book, because the body speaks a lot, and if we listen to the body, we can heal so many things ourselves.
Yeah. I recently actually got this book. I don't know why it kept kind of popping up at me, and how the body heals itself, the inside effects.
Wow, by whom, please?
Um, it's actually multiple authors as well, but one of
Okay.
them is Dr. John DeMartini. Yeah,
Oh, yes, he's a great, great,
he
great,
is.
great author. Oh, yes, you would love him, Dr. De Martini.
Yeah, I
Yes.
study some of his material as well. I
Yeah,
mean, I study a lot of different ones, but he is one of from The Secret too.
yeah.
And here looks like there's about 15 or 20 co-authors in this book too. And it kept popping up. I'm like, okay, I think it's a sign I have to read it. And I started reading it, and it's like, wow, it is very powerful. And it kind of ties in with Dr. Joe Dispenza, what I'm studying right now with him as well. But tell me,
Yes.
so this book also talks about the higher power, and we touched a little bit here and there. But how has faith or spirituality played a role in your own journey and in the stories of transformation you have encountered?
Oh my God, that's a great question. I think spirituality has been part of my life since I think, 15, that was interested in spirituality. I had so many spiritual teachers from the East, from India. I went to India. I was always interested, fascinated with spirituality, in understanding astrology, you know, all in understanding history as well, because spirituality is linked to history as well, to the different cultures, because you see so many common things in many cultures, and many practices. Some of the practices are very similar. All of them, many of the cultures, they have uh, appreci- a great value for the sun. For Mother Earth, for example, for Mother Earth, for the sun. So if you look at many Mexican culture, Indian culture, they all value the African culture. They all value the sun. They all value Mother Earth. So spirituality has been part of my life for a long time. I would say started with meditation when I was 15, and I went to see all these spiritual masters. I am so grateful I met them. It's like Many Life, Many Masters by Dr. Wyss. He's a past life regression practitioner, very well known I think in Canada. He's in Canada, yeah.
Okay.
And because all these masters have taught me something about myself, but what I've learned with all of them, it's about love. And the greatest love, they all talk about that. It's about loving others the way we need to love ourselves, and loving ourselves. That's the greatest thing that we have come here for, to find ourselves, to love ourselves, because when we love ourselves, we can then love others. They all talk about love, about that deep love, because when you love yourself deeply, you vibrate at a much higher vibration, and you attract the things, you manifest the things that you want. So, and life is much more easy. And and love is greatest is the greatest vibration on earth. Everything has been created out of love. So I think this has been coming all along with these spiritual masters, but I didn't realize it until this I did the personal development the past 4 years. And when now I look back, I say, yes, look at how all these spiritual masters were coming with the same message, but they put it in different boxes, but still the same message.
Yeah.
Even you look at Jesus' message, it's about love, it's about self-love, it's about loving yourself, loving others, it's about compassion. So I have learned with the personal development and spirituality to develop greater love and compassion for myself, and also forgiveness for myself, self-acceptance, and accepting others for who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful. And that was gonna be my next question. What is the biggest takeaway? And I think you just answered that perfectly in this um here. So I absolutely love that. Wow. So many golden nuggets shared here today, and I hope our listeners are loving this podcast. So the name of the podcast, as you know, is Rise and Thrive Mornings with Intention. And I asked this all my guests and yourself again, how important do you think it is to make intention first thing in the morning for the rest of the day?
I think it's just as you breathe, making intention is the same thing, because you have it is a not only feed your body, but you have to feed your mind, your soul. So making intentions, that's how you start your day. It's not by looking at the news, but making your intentions to feed your soul, your body, so that you can operate and be your highest version of you throughout the day, and you'd have energy. Because if you start to watch the media when you wake up, you won't even know what's happening to you throughout the day. You'll feel exhausted.
Yeah.
So feeding yourself, having those intentions is is essential. It's like eating, just like you breathe and eat. It's a lifestyle, everybody. So make it a lifestyle, because this life is so short. You don't realize. You might think you have 100 years to live, but this will go in a blink of an eye. And make the most of every day. Be the best version of you and love yourself, because you are the treasure that you have been seeking. Because what you have been seeking has always been outside of you. But in reality, it is inside of you that you will find all those treasures.
That's right. As long as we stop dimming the light.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Rani, for being here with us today. I thank you so much, and hopefully we meet again and
Yes.
with more
Thank you.
stories
Thank you
and
to you.
insights for our listeners. So thank you so much, and I hope everybody has a wonderful day. And all the links to get in touch with us will be posted in this video. So wish you guys a beautiful day.
Thank you. Bye.